In the fast-paced world of business, finding a clear path to profitability can be a challenge. Welcome to 0 to 100 with your host, Jared Guy Randolph, seasoned business and finance expert. Tune in for actionable insights and strategies to accelerate your business success.
Hello, Accelerators. Today on 0 to 100, I have a very special guest. We're going to speak with Bryan Courchesne, who is the CEO of DAIM, who is the first registered investment advisor for digital assets. Like, he is the go-to professional for crypto investments. But we're not going to talk about crypto today. We're going to focus on how he's built such a large, successful business, how to build out business systems, create those stellar KPIs for you as a business owner, elevating your reviews, and building stronger relationships with referral partners that can truly grow your business. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Jared Guy Randolph. I am the founder of BoxFi. We are a payment consulting firm who provides business growth solutions for business owners like you. And I'm very happy to share the network I built over my 25-year entrepreneurial journey to help you grow your business and create more profitability. Ladies and gentlemen, let's accelerate together. Bryan, very excited to have you on 0 to 100.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So you are a true crypto expert, and we'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But today we're going to focus on something that you have implemented in your business to build massive success, and that is KPI or die, as you say. And I wanted to, we're going to talk about building really efficient business systems. Let's take this from the macro view, boil it down to the micro view, and just give us some insight as a business owner, what you need to be looking at from the 30,000 foot view to start building out business systems to really run an efficient business.
Yep. Look, everybody knows the purpose of a business is to make money. That's the easy part. And when you're either building a business from scratch or you take over one or buy one, you generally have a business plan, but after a few months that gets moved to the side, okay? And then you're kind of just floating, you've got some sales going on, but you're kind of in no man's land in tracking this. And so the important thing is to have KPIs, key performance indicators. And those are simply built on a spreadsheet, Google Docs, Microsoft. Just use whatever you can do and build these. And when you have these KPIs in place and you have a schedule for yourself to routinely check those and hold yourself accountable, that's when you can see growth in your business. You can get back some more of your personal time, and that equals success.
So let's talk about prioritization. How do you actually prioritize? And I guess it's going to be different for every business, those KPIs. Like, are there maybe some basics? So you say, like, these are the 3 things that you need to focus on just to get your business in line to then start really implementing a system?
Yep. And so it's really, we look at ours in the main part for KPIs is on the sales side. Like, what are we doing to grow the business on our end? And that's the same for any business. We just manage assets for people and we bill on those assets under management. But in order for those assets under management to grow, we need to continuously help people better invest for their future while also making the right decisions while we're investing their assets. Okay. So when we look at that broader view, we look at our lead channel, and that comes from our personal networks, that comes from advertising, and that comes from referrals. And those are the 3 key components that start our KPI spreadsheet. So the personal connections, the advertising, and our referring partners. And just about every business has those 3 components. You should be advertising on Google, Facebook, what you're doing, but not overextending yourself. You should have referring partners out there, whether you're a plumber and you're partner with local GCs or emergency service contractors. And then you got to be using your own network. All 3 of those matter.
So 3 main KPIs, if you're talking about it from the lead generation standpoint, is your network, the referral network that you build, so how you're tapping into others' network within your ecosystem, and then having a really clear advertising plan.
That's right. And so your network will ultimately be the best ROI and conversion. It might be a little slower, but it's that personal touch that's out there. So in the KPI spreadsheet that you make, every month you set yourself a minimum goal of clients to reach out to, and make sure that new people that you meet out in public, let's say, right? Make a goal to meet new people you've never met before. And then the next set of lines below that, you'll have, did you convert any of those? It's really important because you got to hold yourself accountable. And then so you have the goals, then you put in the actuals, and then you have the variance. Like you can see if you're underperforming or overperforming. And then you just report that. You project it out over 12 months. And then each month you log it as you go in the mornings when you're doing your sales, or at the end of the week. And then at the end of the month, when the month converts, you look at your totals and you see how you've done and you see where you're going. And that little thing will motivate you to go to that networking meeting, take that dinner, by knowing that you got 4 more contacts you got to make before the month is over, pardon me. You got to get out there and do it. And then it's the same thing for the other 2 components. You have the goals of what you want the advertising platform to do, and then are they converting? Then you have, are you increasing your referring partners, and are they converting?
So is there a difference between being a service-based business and a product-based business in terms of building out these KPIs?
On a product side, I would say maybe what you're doing is switching out your human interaction and reaching people to getting reviews, right? Reaching out to people. All right, like I just bought a product to boost the cell phone signal for our business at a location that we have that's remote, just so we have backup between the internet, Ethernet, Wi-Fi, and cell phone. The guy, I don't know where the guy emailed me, right? Because you give your email through it. Hey, how's it doing? Do you need any help with this system? Did you get it set up right? And I was like, wow, this is a $100 product, but the guy still reached out. And then at the end, I got him a review. And so I think that might be the thing to switch to for people with a products-based business, is those reviews are so key, I hear now, with the algorithms.
Right. So, okay, and I'm going to come back to the reviews because I think that's actually a really critical component. I know if I'm looking at a product or even seeking a service, I want to see what the reviews are. And it's one of the first things that I check after checking their website is what the reviews are. But let's stay on the lead generation. So let's say somebody's been doing the Google ads or the Facebook ads and they haven't been seeing the growth in their business. What should they be looking at in terms of figuring out why that's happening and ways in which they can drive more business and have more effective lead generation through their advertising?
This has been a pain point for our business for years. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's something that we've actually heightened elevation in like importance level with our marketing department to increase. I just had a call with the guy yesterday. I've increased it to a bi-weekly call to try to figure this out, what's going on. And it is difficult. Google is constantly changing the algorithm and what's going on behind there. I've learned now that I can't keep up running my business without some kind of help. Now, there are Google verified vendors, I believe, out there. We have one. These guys are not that expensive, but they are valuable. They understand what's going on under the hood, and they're keeping up with the updates and how to do ads. Instead of using Google's, you'll get a pop-up when you do a Google ad that says, do you want to speak to an expert? That's all fine and good, but a third party who understands Google, who's in the United States, might be better to help you in understanding the platform and what's going on underneath. And we are seeing an increase in conversion in just 1 month by now using this person. He knows things that we don't know. He knows how to build things faster than we would do, wasting time. We just tell them, what is the object of our business? And that's to help people protect against inflation and devaluing of the dollar. Who do we help? High net worth individuals, business owners. From there, he understood some keywords to build, and he built the ads, and those are out and running now. And we have seen basically just from a few clicks a month to now, we registered 9 last month in just 7 days, the past 7 days.
So working with this Google ad expert, and this is something I want the audience of business owners to really hear and understand. If you want to elevate your advertising game, especially on Google, you need to have a Google ad expert who knows the US marketplace and can help you accelerate your ads, get more exposure, and have ads that are more effective.
Otherwise, you're just going to spend a lot of money. You could just increase. You're going to think you're going to get more clicks by dumping more money at the system.
Right.
You're going to end up being frustrated, and you're going to look at that. It's going to be a loss for you. And so what you need to do, start small, $35 a day, just see if the clicks are converting, then increase it. Everything is week to week on marketing with Google. Don't overdo it. You will see the results. They will, if they're looking at it and clicking on it, it will show after 7 days. Otherwise, move on.
Yeah. So what did you change about your ads? Was it language? Was it imagery? You're seeing this uptick within the last month. What did you change?
It actually wasn't the language of what we did. It's actually the settings in the back of Google that this verified Google specialist knew how to set up, from what keywords to put in, how to let the thing use its automated system, how to let it use AI, also how to A/B test this stuff that's out there, and then how to follow traffic on businesses that are like yours. He knew how to put this stuff all in a simplistic way, and he just shows me the dashboard, and I go in our system in the back end to see that the leads really converted, and that one's a no, that one's a yes, that one looks a little better, let's give that one a little more money. I'm not an expert at this at all.
I mean, but you're blowing my mind, because you're giving us the technical stuff that most people don't give us. You know, they say, invest in Google ads. You invest in Google ads, and then they say, if you want to talk to one of our team members, click here. And you talk to their team members, you think you're getting the information that you need. But one of the key components of elevating that Google ad game is making sure that your settings are right. So everything from your keywords, the automated systems, the AI, and using that AI that Google provides, the A/B testing, and then following other like-kind businesses, what they're doing to also attract people to your ads. That's brilliant. That's something I think most of the people in our audience would never have known if it weren't for you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So if we go beyond that lead generation in terms of, yes, someone clicks, someone reaches out, what are the systems you need to have in place with your team in order to convert them? Because the sales game is one of the most important things to actually close business. How are you closing more business?
Yeah. So on the personal level, let's talk about that one, because that's in the KPIs. That stuff's all done on a human level. I make sure we get contacts. That goes to the phone, and that's usually done by phone calls and text. Phone calls are definitely still the biggest leader in our business in AUM growth. It won't. It's really hard to beat. It's still interaction. Then when we look at our Google ads, that stuff comes through, and there's a backlink tie-in to our lead intake form, which is just a contact page. And that's just built inside the web page. And then we make sure that within the first half of the day of that lead coming in, they get a phone call. And then as for the referring partners, we've built a web page for them that basically hands them the viewer off to us. So if you're viewing somebody on social media and they talk about the business, and in the description of the business, there's a hyperlink. That hyperlink actually doesn't come right to our business. It goes to kind of a medium page where the referring partner is their headshots on there. And then they talk about who they are and how they're affiliated with this business, which helps the lead understand the flow. And then on that landing page is another contact form, which then again, you got to follow up with right away.
Okay, so I'm going to be super self-serving here because I love what you're talking about. My business as a payment consultant, 95% is dependent upon our referral partners. And we do very well because our referral partners are compensated very well. Walk me through how you built out the individual pages, because I think a lot of our businesses, even if you're a local liquor store, for instance, it's one of the clients that we just signed up recently. How are you creating those pages, and how is it not taking away from your main page or your main business?
Interesting. So we take our homepage that you look at, and you got to make sure, and you just almost make a copy of it. You have your web developer make a copy, just so that like the language and everything looks the same. You keep it really basic. I would put a headshot of the referring partner on there, and then in there, an intro saying the referring partner's name and how they're tied to your business. and then the contact link. Keep it simple. People don't want to spend much time reading things. And so as long as the brand colors are there and the person's image is there and their name is there where they heard of you from, you should be already starting to build that trust.
Ooh, I love that. That's something that I'm going to take under advisement, and we're going to offline, and you're going to tell me how exactly we execute that. So that sounds like some real secret sauce there, man. So now you've got these leads coming in. They're warm, if not hot leads. How have you built a system where your sales team is really effective in delivering the same message so you know that they're able to execute on the close once they have that lead through the door?
Yeah. Look, businesses, you got to look at them very simply, because when you talk to a new lead, you do want to sound very educated and specialized, but there's really one or two messages that you need to convey in just a short elevator pitch to them. That's the right thing. And that just takes time to hone in, but that should be written down. And so in our CRM, when leads come in, that opening statement that we've been using for a long time and just gets tweaked a little by a little is always written there. We always see it. So you never forget that that's what you need to say. Now, you might not have to read it word for word, but just the act that it's right there below the phone number, it comes to memory. When you go to call them or write them an email or text, it's right there.
So it sounds like you have a pretty comprehensive CRM. So you've got your scripts in there, you've got your KPIs in there. What systems are you using? Is it something you created that's proprietary? Or are you using like a Kajabi or an Asana or a Go High Level? What type of CRM are you using in your business?
Yeah. On the lead generation, it's all the web development on the back end. We use WordPress. So that helps send stuff, and then it ends up landing in our spreadsheets. So that's a custom build, but there are guys out there that know how to do this. This is not catching a Elon Musk rocket with some chopsticks. So there's guys out there that your web developer should be able to do it to you. And then we run on Asana. We use Asana. We think it's ASANA. It's a great tool in the integrations it has. You're able to have a lead in there, set yourself goals and follow-ups that will then alert you. So you don't have to think about when you have to reach out to somebody. And then it's got a nice journal log at the bottom that you just keep notes in, and you can just review when you need to talk to somebody. And then the whole team, you can decide if your whole team needs to see it or just a part of your team. It's been a great tool for us.
So one of the books that I'm reading right now is Cash Flow Quadrant by Robert Kiyosaki. And it's a really interesting book. And
Rich
one of the
Dad,
things
Poor Dad.
I'm literally looking at Rich Dad, Poor Dad, right? I mean, one of the best books out there. One of the things that he talks about is that if you don't have systems in place, you don't have a business. So beyond just the systems, let's talk about how you get your team really engaged into the systems and make sure they're actually using them on a daily basis. How do you as a leader not only build them out, but get your team to follow through?
We actually use Asana for that too. So besides, there's a whole section that you can funnel out for lead generation, and then you can make a section in Asana for operations. And so having your people in your company incentivized by KPIs makes the company better. It makes me run the business better. And so I have my own set of accountability KPIs that I got to hold myself to, like the ones that we talked about before, me meeting people personally, but there's other ones that I got to do on the ops end. And so they are scheduled. There's things that need to be looked at every week. There's things that need to be looked at every month. There's things that need to be looked at every quarter. And there's things that need to be done for year end. And you don't want to have to try to remember these or put them in a calendar. It's very simple in Asana. When you do this task for the first time or the next time, log it in Asana.
Right.
What's important? You can put a hyperlink to the file. You can put a hyperlink to the website, and then put a note, and then right away assign yourself the task to do it again when you need to do it again.
You've got a lot of automation. You have a lot of systems built out. So you have a real business and you're seeing massive progress. How do you keep it from becoming really mechanical or robotic? Like, how do you keep that human touch, even though you have systems that you follow for all of your procedures or interactions, especially with clients?
Yeah, that's a great one, because about a year and a half ago, we thought that maybe the way the world was going with text and AI, that we should text or email a new lead first. And we were doing that. And you can have a platform like Mixmax that has automatically generated text messages or emails, right? And then you just go in and you can tweak it, but it could just send them out automatically. And we were trying that, and we noticed that our KPIs were dipping. That's the accountability. Okay, what's wrong? Why are the KPIs dipping? And when you go and you hold your team accountable and you're looking at your KPIs on your spreadsheet, you're going, what's the problem? What did we do different? Then you look and you get under the hood and you realize your conversions are down. Okay, what are we doing? Why were conversions up on a percentage basis a year ago? Well, in between then, we switched to doing things more automated in between. And so you really got to use your KPIs to where now we've gone back to that human experience. It's the human contact by phone call or in person, offering a video call right away, as soon as possible. And then being there, you can tell too, when you offer clients or new leads the ability to text with your business. If you're in your business for a little while and running it, and even if you have somebody new and you're running a Slack channel or you're running like Google Chats with the rest of your team inside email, you can ping them and say, hey, this one needs a phone call, like call that guy, right? And just kind of being on your systems and not being afraid of bringing back that human element and then you could use really as much automation in the background for your middle office and stuff, but you're always on a human level going to have to check your KPIs and figure out why you're going down in your percentage basis on your variance, or if you're looking to increase them. That's a human thing that has to be done. There's no AI that's going to solve for you on that one.
So, it's interesting that you say that, because having those, and especially Zoom calls when you can't be chest to chest with someone, I think are very important, because you need to see someone to understand their body language and whether or not they're focused. And then also seeing someone helps them focus. Yeah. One of the things that we've been doing is when we have a Zoom call, is taking that Zoom call, putting that transcript into our AI to be able to get feedback on how we did with whether it's a pitch or dealing with a customer service issue. And that's really helped from the payment side, from the payment consulting side, us elevate our game, because we're getting feedback that is far more neutral feedback based on what we expect our sales agent or our account managers to be doing when they're talking with a customer. That's been a differentiator. How are you guys implementing that AI into the systems that you've built to get better feedback for your business?
Yeah, I want to learn more about this, because I think after I answer that one, I want to ask you a question about what you're doing and
Sure.
that whole thing that's going on in Zoom.
Sure.
And so on our side, there's not anything using AI on the customer experience. Okay. So for us on our side, you might have customers that are just completely happy. They may look into their account and you don't hear from them. They have no questions. They're happy with the returns. But even if that's the case, our Asana tells us to reach out to customers at a certain frequency, no matter what. And so when it comes back to AI, there are things just like, hey, Grammarly is good to an extent, but when you want to bring a little bit of a human emotion to it, and you need to tell all your clients a particular message, well, then scripting that out and giving it the kind of the emotional tone that you want it to have. Say, hey, write this in an empathetic way, but with confidence, this message. And then you give it the message and then it spits it back. And then you're getting a spell check, plus making sure that the approach and the energy that you want to give your clients is in that message through words.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, on your system, you said that you get a report back from AI on how the call went, if I heard you right. Correct. What is one or two of the outputs that system gives you?
So we use a system called read.ai, and it's great because it's in the back end and it's recording the video. It is seeing what the interaction is like. And what we're trying to get out of the report, and this is something that we actually built a custom chat GPT for, is we want to hear the questions that are asked by the client. If there's commonality in the words that they're using, any feedback they give us. The Read AI is great because it tells us what the follow-up needs to be. It gives us the to-do list if there are things that we need to execute on for that particular business owner that we're working with. So for us, it is a structure around what are we talking about? From what we've talked about, what are the deliverables? And then what does the follow-up need to look like? And it's great because I still take notes, because I take notes like just us having this conversation. I like the tactile nature of taking notes, but it's all there for you. And it's something that now your team members, my team members, can see, and they can go back and review. And if we've had a stellar case where we've closed the deal quickly and easily, or we've had a challenging customer, everybody can go back and review that. It's more than just the old, you pick up the phone and you call Chase and they're like, this is on a recorded line for customer service improvement, whatever it is that the language they're using. It's the same thing, but it's definitely far more in real time, because the system's automatically giving you that feedback. Then we can take that transcript, we put it into our custom GPT, and then that gives us a rating on things that we need to improve, what we should be looking out with, some challenges that our salespeople might have, or some, things we're missing that all of our customers are saying that we now need to go back to the drawing board and offer a better service or improve our language. AI for me is, and I've spent like the last year, I'm part of, many of the listeners know, part of a mastermind called ROAI. It has been the biggest game changer in my career ever, only because I'm learning how to input properly with AI. So you could take your feedback, you could just put it in AI and expect it to push something out. But unless you've given it the right input and told it how you want it to communicate with you, you're never actually going to be able to use AI at a high level. And it's been a massive game changer for us. And we have seen our business increase because of just doing things like reviewing our sales calls.
Yeah, the sales process with all AI even out there, people might feel like they have more free time,
right? But
in reality, you really need, from what it sounds like, reviewing how calls went and checking AI for the improvements. What I took away from that was the commonality of questions by clients or leads.
Yep.
And really tracking that might actually work well with generating that Google ad.
You know what? I need to have you in my life more often. I didn't even think about having a Google ad component. So here's the great thing about AI. I could literally go back and take all of our sales calls and that are in the custom GPT, because we have the transcripts, and I could say, develop a marketing plan, top of funnel, tofu, mofu, and bofu, top, mid, and bottom of funnel. Give me a marketing campaign for this type of business owner. Restaurant owner, has 3 locations. They've been in business for 10 years. They're doing $2 million a month. They're in a major city. Give me a marketing campaign to target that type of restaurant owner. And it's going to spit it out. Now there's a little bit more complexity, but I didn't even think about taking my sales calls and using that to develop my marketing campaign. Brilliance.
Bang.
Hear that, audience?
Let's go.
Record your sales calls, put it in AI, and use it to build out your marketing campaign. Game changer.
That was right here on this call. That's not something I'm doing comprehensively. That's something you're doing. That's the mesh of this pod right here.
That is the brilliance that 0 to 100 is all about. So I want to go back to something that's really important, and it could be a make or break to a degree for your business, and that is your reviews. Let's talk about how we up our review game and we get better reviews for our customers. What are you doing right now?
So we're in a challenging spot, because as a registered investment advisor, specifically managing assets, and those assets being cryptocurrencies for clients, our license cannot allow us to ask for a review. So you're talking to someone who runs a company that has a bigger challenge than most people. Just about every other business out there outside of fiduciary capacities can just go out and ask for a review, and you got to ask for them. And so I'm familiar with the review game and how this works. And what I can see from my tools is there is on your phone, you can get an app, I think it's called WordBoard, where you can store pre-written messages that obviously you can create with AI. And so the biggest time waster that people have is unnecessary phone calls with nothing that's going to generate cash flow, and literally typing or just getting distracted. I mean, you, as a business owner and a guy working in a company, you just got to learn how to not get distracted and focus.
Yep.
So we don't even need to go down that one. Like if you're driven to run your business, you know not to get distracted. But if you're typing, or you're not using voice to text can have some errors in it. A thing like WordBoard with a predefined message, hey, if you had a excellent experience with our service, could you please give us a 5-star review with the link on there? That's what I envision a company that could get reviews having. And it's a hot button on your phone. When you see that you're helping a customer, you got to go right there, right after, and send that message with the link.
Can we level this up? Because I love to send the message with the link for them to just push on it and to send the review.
Yeah. But you're also implying 5-star.
And implying a 5-star review. Okay. I love that. So the head of our ROA mastermind, Peter, sent me a text and said, will you please provide me a video with a testimonial? And do you approve me saying this? The clone cohort that we went through for the 4 weeks that we did that was really amazing and helped me do X, Y, and Z. I've now actually built a Jared Guy Randolph clone with my voice. It's really freaking frightening because it's like talking to me. And we've used this program called Delphi, and I have like 500,000 words from articles I've written, interviews from our podcast are all on this platform. So you can go and talk to it like you're talking to me as a human being. We have not gone live yet with it because there's some tweaks that I still want to make, but he asked for a review and I'm more than happy to give a review, but frankly, and I still haven't given him the video review. Now he did send it 2 days ago. I will get to it within the next day or two.
Well, you're accountable now. So you're on.
Yeah, I know. Everybody knows if Jared doesn't do it, Peter's going to watch this too and be like, where's my freaking review?
Yeah.
It is the fact that he said, can I post this? And he gave me the review and it's a thumbs up, thumbs down, or I could change it for him. What he wrote was brilliant. I said, yeah, send the review. I could technically take the meetings that we have, the sales calls that we have when we close a client, have my AI write a review and send it to them and say, do we have your approval to post this as the review for the service that we've provided?
Here's a suggested one. If you want to modify it, go for it. Otherwise, you can just use this one.
Yeah, I love that. This is the brilliance of AI that I don't think that business owners realize. Let's take a restaurant, for instance. You have in your POS system what the individual ordered. And let's say that at the table, there were 6 people and 3 of them ordered the filet mignon. You could send them a text of, please rate your experience. And would this be, you could post this or you could modify this. Talk about the fact that the new filet mignon that we have on the menu was absolutely brilliant. And we really enjoyed having it. 3 people out of our 6 guests, they had the filet mignon and it was a thumbs up and they could post that. But then a table where there's 2 people could be myself and my guest. I enjoyed the filet mignon and my guest, she enjoyed the fish and it was absolutely amazing. Through AI, it can be random and unique. So if there were 5 tables where 3 people had filet mignon, each one of the interviews or each one of the reviews could be unique, building it out through AI because it never spits out the same thing. Like that to me becomes the game changer.
And if there's someone listening about restaurants, I'm not in that business, but I just thought of this because I had dinner Tuesday night. Well, this is a real background, by the way, but there's a restaurant, a real nice one right here that I ate at for the first time, just on the other side of the building. Stag, give them a shout out. Beautiful place here in Palm Beach. And just think what you're saying, and this could be helpful in other businesses. I guess what they call it, the line chef, the head chef, before that plate leaves the kitchen and goes to the table, they probably should be taking a picture of it. And they could probably set up a camera right at the end that snaps a photo of it. They're going to know what table, just for like quality control, right? And to make sure that meals are accurate. You could hold everybody accountable by having that snapshot. And you could just go through them, right? You could have AI sort the photos. But when you have that message go out to that table after, you could have it send the picture too, because you have to have photos too. I hear in reviews, I hear you need to have the photos. It's got to be, they're all watching it.
I love the idea with the photos. So the kitchen setup is you have a screen and you have a printer. Sometimes it's multiple screens, sometimes it's multiple printers. What you could do is you could have a camera attached to the screen and the printer. You hold the plate under before it goes out because it all gets pushed up to the same bar anyway. It snaps a photo of that when the server's taking it away, and then they take it to the table. It's tied directly to that receipt. And then that receipt is tied to the customer when they go to pay the bill. And that could be tied to the AI following up with you to ask for the review. I mean, we literally just solved the world's problems. If you're not making $1 billion in the next 3 years after this podcast, I don't know what's wrong with you.
I thought of something. If we got a little bit of time here,
and move it. Let's do it.
It might be for your business.
Let's do it.
So if you're looking to convert more restaurants that do over $2 million in sales,
yes,
and you're going, hey, switch to my POS or my service, but I'm also going to help you in an additional way. And take this idea that we just had and just figure it out for them. And just like, hey, I will also implement in our payment system this review mechanism for you. That we're just throwing that in. You got to maintain the cost of it or whatever it is, because everybody's afraid of learning new technology and changing something. But if somebody says, I'm going to do it for you, meanwhile, you're going to pick up the business on their end, you're going to get them to switch providers. Maybe that's
you're onto something, because let's take one of my plastic surgeons or med spas.
I don't suggest doing surgery for them.
But here's the thing. They have photo capture technology for all of those businesses. So when I go, and I will admit it, I'm not afraid to admit it. When I go to get my Botox, they take a picture of you before you get your Botox, so you can see the before and after. So those systems, building that into a POS system is very easy. That's not even reinventing the wheel. That is a not so new concept. And doing it in the restaurant industry, you just solved some major problems in terms of getting reviews for restaurants today. Great idea, man. That's awesome.
Let's go.
So let's talk about, because we're about to wrap up, I want to talk about one other thing with you. And then I want to hear a little bit about what you guys are doing as a registered investment advisor in the crypto world. But let's talk about, I'm going to start with using the term time management. As we know, no one can manage time. Oprah, me, you, we all get 24 hours in a day. There's no such thing as time management. But how do you, as a successful business owner, manage your activities?
Yeah, you got to understand that your best energy of the day has got to go to sales. And so you've got to have a schedule that you write for yourself that says, okay, if you're the guy that likes to start at 6, well, then from 6 to 7, what is that block? Is that catching up on emails or making sure your crews are doing well? Whatever it is, you got to have that ready. But sometime in the morning, when you're your freshest and you've got your most energy, you've got to get right to dedicating a block of time to those sales calls, not being distracted. And you will see that when you do that and you look at your KPIs, whether it's each week or each month, you're going to start realizing that I'm just going to focus on what's making money and customer service, right? In the morning. And then obviously you got to do your administrative stuff in the back end. But if you just have that mentality of, because the new thing now is it's like you're in so many group texts on your phone that are just really pointless, really. And they get stacked in there and the dots are in there and looking at them. The same thing's happening in Instagram and all that stuff. Like, you got to understand that if it's truly important, people will reach out to you like a personal life or having fun. They'll reach out to you multiple times or they'll call you when it gets really important. But your customers have to be number one priority. And when you do that, I find that the afternoons and what it is when people are a little more worn out and people don't want to be sold or talk about investing in crypto, I can say, hey, I've got that free time now. I've done things that will move the needle and move the actual numbers in the KPI system. And so I feel good about what I'm doing.
So I love that. And everything is based around sales. So I have an extensive background in real estate, as most of our listeners know. And one of the things that I would always say, salespeople are the most important part of the process. You could build out great systems, but if you don't have somebody to sell it or lease it, you don't get to do it again. And that's for every single business. If you're not driving sales, there's no revenue, you can't pay your bills, you literally don't have a business. So everyone is selling, whether you're an attorney or you're literally selling a widget. Understanding exactly who your client is the most important thing, because here's what I've realized. I used to think that my client was the end user, the restaurant owner. My client is not, or my customer is not. They might be my client, but my customer is not the restaurant owner. My customer is their CPA, their fractional CFO. I have relationship with referral partners, which seriously, we're offlining this referral partner page because I'm super excited about it, where the majority of my business, I spend the first half of my day speaking with my referral partners so I can stay top of mind. So even if I'm getting 2 or 3 referrals on a weekly basis, that's 100 new clients. And if it comes from their CPA, there's a high likelihood that I'm going to be closing that business. So I realized that cold marketing and trying to compete against a Stripe or a Square, that's not going to work for me. Even though my service is better, it's not. What works for me is having the right referral partners in tow and making sure I'm starting my day having conversations with that. And that's brilliant advice. So thank you for giving that to our guests. Before we go into our rapid fire questions, I want you to give a little background on what you guys do from the investment advisor standpoint for crypto, because it is super unique in the marketplace.
Yeah, thanks. So 2018, through some difficult challenges with regulators and the SEC, we became the first of its kind registered investment advisor for digital assets. So basically what that meant was, at that time, if you had money or you want to put money into the market and buy Bitcoin, you had to go to Coinbase, and you were just putting money really on your phone on an app or blindly into a website. And you could try to email them for help. There was definitely no phone number. I don't even think there's still a phone number there now. But people want to have that human experience, just like you were saying. In the mornings, you talk to these CPAs. The underside of our business is being there at any time for our customers for a phone or video call. I mean, that's a must. You have to, for existing customers, be available. And so just saying that that's what we were going to do, we were going to become a fiduciary to help people invest in this space. That was the premise of it. And so for the past 6 years, we've been helping a lot of business owners with their excess capital to diversify their portfolio, get into investments like Bitcoin. And the reason that I picked this with my team, this space to be such a niche, is that traditional equities have been around for a while. You have the fixed income market, you have insurance, things that you can do with that and that strategy, but there was really nothing that was a liquid form of real estate. And going into the real estate side, well, the greatest thing of real estate is the scarcity in great locations. We obviously know that there's not a lot of land. Yeah, you could pump some sand out of the ocean like they do in the Middle East and make some islands, but truly great places, if you just look in the United States, they're already getting clustered, and the values will continue to go up in there because they're scarce.
Right.
But they're not liquid. And when I came across Bitcoin in October 2014, and I saw that the fixed supply was locked at 21 million units on a product that could trade 24/7, 365 globally, and it was completely decentralized, the creator was removed, and it couldn't be inflated in value, I was like, we've got something here. We've got something that trades like stocks, but has the scarcity of real estate. And the great thing is that the IRS treats it as property. And so to us, it's actually always been clear what kind of regulations and how to help. Look, the government wants one thing. They want to collect taxes. And so the IRS in 2014 claimed it as property. And so for us, helping our clients report gains, sometimes we can do a strategy called a tax loss harvest, because we can sell the assets right away and buy them right back in kind because it's property. Working with their CPAs, like you do, the CPAs are kind of like the gatekeeper to a lot of things, really help them get over the hump of why I should invest in this. Not only for the ROI of Bitcoin has the 6-year annualized returns a little over 50% per year. So you're looking at a double, even though it has those big drawdowns, as long as you can wait those out, about every 2 years, you can look at a double right in it. That's another property to it. But really the other side is you're taking a percentage of your wealth and you're becoming self-sovereign. You're becoming your own bank.
It's fun.
Yeah, you could just go right to your Bitcoin and get it. Yeah.
The Bitcoin within the last, I'd say decade is really probably the last 5 or 6 years has really scared me, because you have a lot of these YouTube sensations talking about how to invest in, they literally know nothing and they're rented Lamborghinis, but I digress. I bought Bitcoin back when it was $300 a coin, sold it around like $5,000 a coin. And my friend,
there's nothing wrong with that. That's a great trade, by the way.
I mean, it's literally technically the best investment I've ever made. Now, I should have held it for longer. I didn't know. I should have bought more when I went in and originally did it. And this was like in the days of like the original trading, back when Bitcoin just was maybe like a year old. And we went to this really weird, obscure trading floor down off of Broad Street in Lower Manhattan. And we went through this like side alley entry. I mean, like this is some weird stuff that you see in a freaking movie that was cardboarded up on the front of the retail space. It's where the Satai Hotel is now. Like it was super shady. And my buddy's like, no, you got to do this. It's the best thing since sliced bread. I obviously kick myself that I didn't go spend thousands of dollars and buy a ton of it. But the reality is that I do believe in it. And I think a lot of people do. And funnily enough, crypto comes up in conversation when it's around investments. And I speak with a lot of my business owners, and I'm sure a lot of the people here who are audience of business owners and entrepreneurs really want to learn more. And when we wrap this up, I want you to give your contact information so our audience can reach out and learn more from somebody who is truly a professional in the field.
Yeah, we see that we'll have clients oftentimes send us something from YouTube or TikTok, like, hey, this guy's saying this, is this what's going to happen? And you look at it and you're just like, it's unfortunate for us at our size. We have institutional capabilities. We trade over the counter. We manage money for people that work at prominent crypto firms. We have a good reach in the space. We talk to some of the miners directly in Bitcoin. This helps us manage assets for our clients to give us that ROI. We run the ROI. We manage a one model portfolio that has outperformed Bitcoin over the 6 years by a difference of 408%. Now, we don't day trade. It's just occasionally seeking alpha on a portion of the portfolio by allocating to a project that we think could outperform, or taking some off the table when we think we're reaching the near peak, and then trying to add back in when we think we're bottoming out, something like that we did back in Q1 of 2023. Wow. And so that really helps us manage, and watching bigger money flows and being a part of those bigger money flows really helps us filter the noise when someone's saying, oh yeah, but look at this chart, the technicals say that. And it's like, yeah, but you don't understand, like Bernstein's out there running a roadshow, pumping Bitcoin. Like your technicals can say all they want. That's the reason why, Bitcoin's up the last 2 days, is the institutional guys, the TradFi guys are coming around to adoption, and there's road shows going on, and they're pushing the Bitcoin ETFs, and that's coming into the underlying. And just be careful, because we see a lot of fraud. There's a lot of people that join like Facebook message groups or trading groups. If the return is too good to be true, it definitely is. There will be promises of 1,000% return in a very short amount of time. Those are really unlikely. For every one person that you see that's driving a rented Lamborghini, as you said, that does it, there is 99 others who have lost a lot of money doing it.
Yep, 100%. So let's jump into our rapid fire, and then we're going to wrap, and you're going to give everybody your contact information. Cool. So, cat or dog?
Dog.
Is there a movie you've watched recently or a great television series that you suggest that our listeners and viewers watch?
I'm starting to watch the Tulsa King for the first time.
I actually heard that's really good from like two of my friends. I might have to go on my list.
I was surprised.
What is your favorite, or one of your top favorite business books that you suggest our audience reads?
It's 5 stars. I gotta look it up and see who it is, but I'll give it to you and you can put in the description. A lot of it is about communication and how to deliver, and it gives some stories and what to do. And it talks about how Nike went on their campaigns. It's actually from 5 stars to great, I believe it's called. And it actually ties back into what we were saying earlier on getting those reviews. It's a great book. So yeah, I'll get it to you after. You can put in the show notes.
Awesome. I love it. What is one of the things that you disagree with in your industry?
Ooh, that there's really a purpose for a lot of these altcoins and meme coins and NFTs. This stuff is toxic. There's not a lot of substance behind them. The reason that they're created is usually the founders looking for some sort of payout themselves out of the treasury. And so that's a bad thing in the industry that needs to get cleaned up. And it is. Bitcoin is starting to, now I'm not a Bitcoin maximalist. I do love Bitcoin. It is a larger part of our portfolios. But when we look at allocating out, that project needs to have credibility, substance, and it's got to be useful, if not now, in the future. And so we could use I don't agree with all the creation of all these NFTs and the meme coins. They're fun, but the money that should be going to Bitcoin for really preserving and creating long-term wealth.
Wow. Thank you for that. So what are 3 money-saving strategies that you would suggest for entrepreneurs and business owners for 2025?
Okay, this one might be a little long-winded, but I'll give them this one.
Go for it.
When you start and you try new software that might be incorporating AI, What we like to do is, it might be a little more expensive, but always do the month-to-month trial. You got to test it and know, and don't be afraid to cancel the service. You can let the sales rep know, hey, I'm going to try this. It's really got to work for me. Otherwise, you got to understand, I got a business to run. I would need to close this if it isn't of benefit, and do it on the most minimum level too. See if you like it. And if you're using it and it's helping you, you're going to want to pay more for the product. But when that means that it's making you money. And otherwise, you've got to move on from these products. You're going to get sales calls all the time to try this platform, do this technology, $3,500 a year. You're going to get all kinds of things. Try them for month to month. Even if they say it's a year, work out a deal, and don't be afraid to cut it.
Love it. So last question. If you are a business owner doing $10 million a year in revenue, and Jared Randolph walks through the front door and hands you a $300,000 check, how would you advise that business owner to invest the $300,000 to double their profits over the next 12 months?
Yeah, it's going to go, I would say, take a third of that, and you got to look at a way to improve your operations on the back end. And the other 2/3 is going to be on the sales through customer service experience. Awesome. You need a good back end. You got to be able to serve your existing customers like us. We still got to have investment management meetings. We need tools to be better managers and protectors and safekeepers of our clients' assets. That has a cost to it. And if we can spend a little bit in there to make that better, we know that the referral business will be better. And then I would say the other, a third would go to the existing customer experience. And then the next third is to on your sales, the way you do things, taking a course, buying the book, just being a better speaker, just those things. Yeah, divide it into thirds.
Awesome. So we like to do things live. The name of the book is 5 stars, The Communication Secrets to Get From Good to Great by Carmen Gallo.
That's
and I literally already put it in my Amazon cart as we're sitting here going through this. Bryan Courchesne, will you please tell the audience where they can connect with you?
Yep. Our website is DAIM.io. That's Delta Alpha Indigo Mary Indigo Oscar. That's the main website. On there, you will see our phone number and our email. You can reach out to us. Something else that's great that we give is every month we put out a newsletter that really talks about investing in the space from a long-term wealth preservation like view, right? And it gets away from the TikTok and YouTube, and really we try to hone in on what's important, and that's free. So you could sign up and get that and be better educated, and maybe something to talk about at nights, on the weekends when you're out to dinner with your friends. It's some good educational stuff.
Awesome. Mr. Courchesne, thank you for joining us on 0 to 100.
All right. Thanks for having me, Jared.
Thanks for tuning in to 0 to 100 podcast. We hope you feel inspired and ready to accelerate your business. Remember, your journey to success starts with a single step. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep striving for greatness. For more resources and show notes, visit jaredguyrandolph.com. We'll see you next time.